I'm back again, and this time we need to talk about trust in the workplace because that's an issue. And today I have 4 topics for you related to trust. And if you are in a leadership position or in a managerial position, listen up because trust is a very complex and difficult thing to address in organizations. I'm Sylvia, an organizational psychologist, and I have written hundreds of articles last year on social media and different platforms. And I was told that I should be bringing these articles to the YouTube community because not everybody reads apparently. So here I am. Today the setting is a little bit different because I'm on a business trip. So I will be recording from this room for the next few weeks. But hey, it doesn't change anything. And the topic is trust. And it's a difficult one. It's a difficult one because we got lost in organizations, and poor leaders, poor managers, and poor employees are all caught up in this. We must have trust and we have to train people how to trust. Now let's start with the basics. Nobody on this planet needs to be taught or trained how to trust. We know how to trust. It comes with us, that's innate. So that's not the problem. The problem is that we lose trust as we go from one employer to another employer, from one leader to another other leader. And this is most of the time what leaders have to deal with. Pick up the loss of trust from the previous leadership, for example. So let's talk about trust. And trust, the fourth topic I have for you guys is that how do we address trust? And what do we want? The first thing is really, what do we want people to trust us with? Because trust is so big, we don't even understand. Oh, trust me. Okay, but with what? So we're going to look at that. Going to look at what to do if you are in a leadership or managerial role and you inherited a team that lost trust in the leadership. That's a difficult one, right? Because it's not your fault, but now you have a group of people, which I experienced a couple of days ago with these guys. I went to somebody and that person was clearly, even them, he was saying it, I knew that's just not true, right? And then I found out 10 minutes later that what he said was not true. And then one of the managers got upset. Oh, why is he lying? I'm like, leave it, because there must be a reason. And attacking the poor person is not going to address the root cause of the problem. So we are going to look at that. We're going to look at how we trained employees not to trust us. And basically, and the fourth topic is employers don't trust employees either. So we are in a vicious cycle and somebody must break that cycle. But who is going to be the one? It has to come from the top. It cannot come from the employees. So let's get on with it. Now, people don't have trust issues. Let's start with this. I have seen this pattern of behavior before, and I'm not going to do it again, kind of. That's their behavior. Right? So it's not necessarily that it's trust, but they have seen it and they learned a lesson. People are very receptive. They learn and behave and respond to what they've been exposed to. With everything, not just with trust. So the other day, I was talking to a senior leader, a VP of HR, and this is why sometimes it hurts me talking to HR people because they should know this, This is their bread and butter. This is their craft. And that guy we were talking about trust in the workplace, and he said, give me a recipe for how to build trust in the team. I'm like, there is no such a recipe. And he kept pushing, but give me the recipe. I'm like, dude. And after like 2 minutes of conversation, he was just pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And I'm like, dude, there is no such a recipe how to build trust. I'm like, the trust is with you. And my number one problem is this: organizations want this framework, this 5-step method to address complex human behavior. This is such a simplistic way of looking at human beings. Give me the 5-step framework and I'm going to fix Sylvia's trust issues with the organization or the leadership. It doesn't exist. So trust is really approached very differently. So here are my notes. As you know, I'm going to look at it. If I don't look at you guys, I'm just looking at the notes to give you the right information, my opinion. You know the drill by now, right? You can disagree, agree. I would never claim that I'm right. I am explaining what I have seen in the workplace, in the workforce, and I'm also explaining what science is telling us, what data is telling us. And trust is something that not necessarily science, psychological safety is looking at it, this area of science, but we have massive data on lack of trust in organizations. And you know what? There is nobody to blame. It's just the evolution. We lost trust on the way, and now we find ourselves. And I'm not sure, although I support psychological safety because the concept is fantastic, and I agree with everything that they say that, you know, trust is the foundation of honesty, and without honesty, you cannot really run organizations because you can't find out problems, which just happened to me 2 days ago, 100%. I'm just not sure that conducting trust and psychological safety training is the best way to move forward. Now, that's definitely raising awareness, and this part of it. But nobody is explaining to leaders that, hey, this is what you actually need to do. Because a workshop is not going to solve. It's months and months and months and months, if not years of work it takes for somebody to trust you, especially if they lost the trust. Now, but let's get started. First of all, we need to identify, because when we talk about trust, let me get back to the story of this guy, right? He was pushing, and I said, there is no such a thing. And he told me that he never met a trainer, an L&D professional, talent management person, or a HR person who didn't have a framework for how to address trust in the workforce. So I just said to him, I'm like, you should work with them. You should work with them because I don't have it. I know how to get there in the long term, but that's not a framework. I can give you actions that might take you there, but as you know, I will never promise anything because human beings are very, very complicated. So first things is, what do we want people to trust us with? We don't know the answer to this question. And I even asked this HR VP, what do you want people to trust you with? Is it that, you know, you are going to back them up when, you know, pressure comes from the top? That trust you that you are not going to fire them at the next redundancies? No, I cannot because, you know, business. I'm like, okay, so what do you want people to trust you as a leader? He didn't have the answer. I'm like, here we go, touche. I gave it back to him very quickly. Then employees. What do we want employees to trust leaders with, and vice versa? So we don't have the answer. And this is the problem. Do we want them to trust, do we want leaders to trust employees that they get the job done? That's the minimum, right? Do we want to trust employees that they are not going to circulate internal information? Absolutely, right? But do we want, or maybe to trust the organization to tell them the truth and on time when layoffs are risking their livelihoods? Can we trust leaders to do that? Because if we can't trust leaders with this, why are we expecting employees to trust us? It just doesn't work one way. And the problem is that there are a lot of confidential information. There are a lot of complexities around these informations, especially coming from the leadership, right? That I understand that you cannot share. Because you cannot say that, you know what, we looked at the papers, the numbers, and it looks like that in June we might need to make 50% of you redundant. I understand why organizations would never say that. But at the same time, it means that I'm keeping information from people. And obviously, that's going to result in a loss of trust. So the trust, is this the right narrative? Once again, what do we want people to trust us with? We don't have the answer. So clarify that when you are in a leadership position, right? When you are a manager, what do you want? I want to trust my leader that he or she is going to guide us through difficult times. I want to trust my leaders that they are going to find solution to the problem, to the business problem that we have, or problem within the team. And I trust them not to leave us to ourselves, or sort your conflicts out. I'm sure you will sort it out. I had a leader like that, right? I want to trust my leader to be as honest as possible, given the nature of the business and the nature of information that sometimes we just can't share. But you know what? Most of the time I had conversation with my employees, and what I said, I'm like, lovely, I cannot tell you this, but things are happening at the back. And that's all I could share. But I'm not going to lie, because then they appreciated the honesty that, hey, I know that something is cooking. It might impact you, I don't know, maybe for sure, but I can't tell you that. And that's that. So we don't know the answer, what is trust. So how do we train people, right? How do we train when we don't even know what? So I think organizations should start or set a guideline, if we really want to have guidelines. What do we want leadership to be trusted with? That you're not going to cheat your employees and steal their money. That you are not going to, ask them to work overtime and then never pay them back. I want, when the leaders make a promise, I'm going to increase your salary, you keep your word. Because these are the basics. This is coming from me as an individual. Because if it's coming from somewhere and I have little or no control over, I say, I don't, that's not down to me. So move away from that. Everything that is related to you, you must deliver. And obviously, leaders want to trust employees to get the job done, to be decent human beings in terms of not stealing from the company, etc., etc., etc. And I think that's the baseline. These are basic human decencies. It's not a big thing. Trust is not as difficult as we think. We just got lost, and we need to outline what do we want to trust each other with. Yeah? Now, the second part is what happens when you have inherited a team that lost trust in the previous leadership. So most of the time, leaders have this tendency to, here is, you can come to me anytime, you can speak to me, my door is open, I'm not like the previous leader. Don't do that, because the trust is lost. It's not going to work. It never worked. What works, though, is you constantly open up the platform for them to share their experiences. That's going to take months of work. This is how it works. If you want to speed it up, good luck. Let me know how it's going. I'm sure there are somebody out there who have better ideas. So please share it. But it's literally months of work and communication. Sometimes it's one-to-one communication, because now you are building trust. You are building trust that is not even lost because of you. So it's very, very difficult. And this narrative that I'm not like the previous person is the worst approach. First of all, if you are a manager or leader, you don't do that. You don't, undermine the previous. You don't know the circumstances. And you don't even know if the story is true. And you don't want to open up a gossip session. I know it would suit your ego. Don't do that. Whatever is in the past is the past. You never talk about the previous leader. Your collective experiences. Tell me, what was the story? What is it that they're experiencing right now? And then slowly, one-to-one, team sessions. And all you have to do is listen. Don't go into explanation. Don't go into justification. Don't go into anything. And one step at a time, you will build. All you do is listen. And then you say, this we can address. This we cannot. Be honest about it. For whatever reason, we don't know. Sometimes we just can't do things. It's a system, it's an organization, right? But when you promise, I am going to do this and address this, you must deliver at all cost. There is no going back, because you're going to lose trust forever. Oh, just another leader who came and went, promises and nothing. Never promise. I never promise anything. I say, let me see what we can do about it. And when it happens, fantastic. I never promise unless I'm 100% sure that I can do it. Or it is really within my control, and I'm in charge of that decision. Then I will say, I will do that. So when you inherit a team, acknowledge the fact that you are going to have to work months and months, and step by step, and eventually they will come to you. It's a beautiful process. I have been through this, and it's a beautiful process when eventually they come and they sit and they say whatever they have to say. And this is where you want to get to, right? Don't go, blazing, oh, you have to trust me. Okay, who the hell are you that I have to trust you? I don't even know you, right? Now, the next topic is literally that we trained people not to trust us. But so sometimes we can blame ourselves, most of the time, right? Because if people don't trust me, whether at work or outside, they have a reason for it. So, we need to look into the mirror, organizations and leaders. So instead of saying, oh, you can trust me, or why people, sometimes I have session with leaders and they get upset that the teams don't trust them. I'm like, dude, it's your handwork, You did it. You achieved it. Fantastic. Well done. Now the only way is up. That's the good news in here. They don't trust you. Fantastic. Move on. Acknowledge. Hurt your ego. A bad day for the ego is good day for the, good future for the soul. It's fine. And for your team as well. Leaders don't shy away from getting your ego hurt, because that's a good day and a good future for your team. Okay? If you learn your lesson. It's fine. We've all been there, and we are all going to be there from time to time. And that's that. So we taught people not to trust us. We taught people not to trust us when we made promises. We taught people not to trust us when we gave them a rating during the annual appraisal, and all of a sudden it came back from HR, downgraded. No, you are not that good, right? We taught them not to trust us when we promised them salary increase, promotion, etc., and it never happened. And then we go back, oh yeah, but it was the previous manager. It doesn't really matter. I'm still here. For me, this is my work. I'm trusting you guys, or distrusting. So we taught people not to trust us, and we need to put our hands up and go from there. Now, and the fourth topic is really, I like that topic. I wrote about it, and I'm going to put the link in below, all the links for this topic, that employers don't trust employees. So why do we expect employees to trust us? And we have shown people over and over and over again that we don't trust them. And here are some of the ways. When we attract, right? When we're trying to attract talent, we don't use employee-generated content for social media output to attract talent. No, we asked the marketing team, can you please put together something really nice, really polished, which is detached from reality, from of the ground, right? Because it's not what is happening. And we put it out, and then people enter the organization and very quickly realize this is not what I saw in the video. There you go. We lie to them, they lose trust. So I always encourage organizations use employee-generated content, because today's generation, they want the raw reality of what is happening. We don't want polished marketing videos. I even say that marketing department is going to go, because we really don't need them in the form as they are. They need to start involving the people of the organization and make these authentic content. So allow that, because the new slogan is really skip the crap and show me the job. Because this is why I'm signing up for, not your celebration and whatever, you know, on an event. No, that's not my daily life. That will happen once a year, right? Your annual Christmas party. So why are you trying to attract me with once a year event when my other 300 days of the year or whatever, I work 250, it's not going to be like that. Then during the hiring process, now we know the data that recruiters lie, hiring managers lie. We paint, we color this position. Oh, this is the fantastic position, a great opportunity, blah, 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 blah. And then you end up with a position that doesn't resemble to what is written. Your job description and what you actually do on a daily basis is completely different. And now, once again, we lost trust. They are not going to trust us because, hey, you told me this is a great place to work, and that is absolutely not. Or the job, right? Or the job doesn't even look the way it was advertised. Onboarding. We don't even trust people that they can learn basic information about the company. So we take them, here we go, sit here for 1 day, 2 days, induction, right? And then that's that. Give them the online content. It's just knowledge. Anybody can learn. Give them the content and assess them, test them. If they fail the test 3 times, get them out of the organization. This is how you deal with adults, right? Motivation. We don't even trust our employees to tell us what motivates them and what engages them. We decide for them. Oh, Sylvia, here is your donut Friday. Here is your pizza party. Here is your paper certificate as a recognition and reward for your fantastic contribution. You made extra 40,000 dirham for the department this year through your upselling or whatever it is, right? Nobody has ever asked me if any of what HR is doing on their engagement or my leaders on the motivation, that do they engage me and motivate me? Because I tell you something, they didn't. They absolutely did. If anything, they disengaged me because they removed me from the job that I was hired to do, and now I had to spend an extra hour at work because of your silly event. I was behind. So we don't even trust them, because if we trusted them, if we could ask them, Sylvia, tell me what motivates and engages you, so maybe we can, figure things out for you, personalizing. No, Emma from HR will figure it out for me. Thank you, Emma. I don't want anything from human resources. Performance. We lie to people. We lie, we don't tell them why they are not getting the promotion. We don't tell them that they are really bad at their job. We don't tell them that they smell. We don't tell them that they are poor performers or they have anger issues or whatever related to performance, which is negative. Good news, we are very good to communicate. And sometimes that truth, the honesty, is the only thing we can give that poor person. And that honesty, the only thing that we can give, is the only thing sometimes that could change and shape the future of that person. Because if you told me, Sylvia, you are fantastic at job, but you smell, whatever it is, right? I'm just taking an example. Then I will stop wondering why I haven't been promoted for the past 10 years. And maybe I will address the problem if I can. But we deprive people from that, and eventually they find out, or they just, you know what, they get very bitter and cynical about the organization and they leave, or whatever the story. But we don't share it with them because it's uncomfortable for us. So we are saving our asses instead of helping the poor people. It is uncomfortable. It's like the Band-Aid. Rip it off, hurts for 2 minutes, and then we can all move on, right? Or the other thing that I've seen many times in my organization, especially in senior leader levels, in corporate office, we promote you, and we knowing that you are going to fail, and then we fire you. You're not good enough to be fired at that level, but we're not going to have the conversation with you. We promote you, and 6 months later, we fire you. One more aspect of trust and performance. Why don't we, if we are so keen on organizations and or leadership, quality leadership, employee engagement, and all that comes with, why are we not transparent about our data? Why don't we publish employee engagement data? Why don't we have it? Every organization, every leader would have the quality score, leadership and manager quality score, and present it at the door, in, you know, at the entrance, staff entrance, and even guest entrance. This is how happy or unhappy our employees are. This is how good our leadership is. If we did that, I guarantee you that the whole landscape of organization and workforce would change. But we don't. Why? Nobody is trusting it. Because if I'm an employee and I come and I see 64%, people are not very happy in here. Now I have two choices. I say, thank you very much. Or I join and I say, you know what, at least they are upfront. They are not hiding. They are not lying. They have shit leadership, shit management, and as a result, shit engagement score. That's honest. But we don't want to do that. Even in developing, right? We talked about it a little bit in terms of career development. We don't even trust people that they have the capability to figure out what they want. No, we designed your career path. This is where you need to go. So this is what you're good at. This is what you're not good at. Based on that, these are the learning sessions that you need to attend. And this is the position because we want you to be there. Emma don't want me to be anywhere, okay? People are grown-ups, adults, they can decide. And when they are departing, exiting the organizations, needless to say, that people become enemy number one. We don't even share information that is related to their job. So during the notice period, they can't really do the job. We disable them because now, don't, because then, you know, she's leaving. Dude, you are not sharing NASA's secret, okay? Or the Pentagon or whatever. Nothing is going to happen here. So we show them that we don't trust them. And we also show them that we don't trust that they can be responsible grown as adults when not asking them to put their exit interviews online. Why don't we have exit interviews online? Why don't we have employee engagement and leadership quality score online? We put guest satisfaction online. There's no difference. And why we work really hard on that guest satisfaction? Because we know that is published. And if we did that, we would be working really, really hard to, you know, to build trust and build employees' experiences. So once again, we show employees that we don't trust them. So, and you know what? If we did that, if we put out content or surveys and, you know, results and employee feedback, you will always have one or two who are really negative, just with guest experience. There's nothing wrong with it, just with influencers. But you know what happens if you are a really good organization, and how you can see that people trust you and you can learn to trust your employees is this is what happens in social media. There is somebody get a negative comment. And if you have, and then all of a sudden their fans, their supporters come to their rescue, to their defense. And this is what you want. With guest satisfaction score, we know that we are going to receive complaints, right? it's given. I always say, don't aim for not receiving complaints. You are setting yourself up for failure. You will always have complaints. But what we want is, if we receive 10 reviews, 1 or 2 complaints, or maybe not so good, but the rest, 9 or 8, must be 10. And that's what we aim for. So they come to our rescue. Now, you see famous people. Somebody posts something negative about them. Their supporters, their fans, they come to their rescue. No, that's not true, blah, 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 blah. This is what you want to achieve as an employer. Somebody, an employee, will post something really bad about you, and then the rest, if you cultivated this relationship that based on trust and employee experience, they will come to your rescue. And I don't think there is anything better in terms of attracting talent, going back into the talent cycle, than this. Because then I, as a person, I read and say, you know what, look at these guys. They're really passionate about this company. They come to their rescue. Yes, there is always some negative Nancy around, or something really genuinely happened, you know. It happens everywhere. We can't keep everybody happy. But majority of them are very happy. So why don't we encourage people, our employees, to put content out, to comment, to advocate for us? Because the minority is always very loud out there, and people think this. They have this perception that, oh, everything is bad, because the positive ones, they are not coming through our online platforms. Why not? That's why I don't like particular Glassdoor, because who goes there? But if we've pushed everybody, go and complete your survey on Glassdoor, engagement survey, whatever we want, exit survey, we would have a much richer data. And the scores would look very, very, very different, because now everybody who just wants to complain, they go and do that. Just look at the numbers. Those are not reflective of any company, trust me. Now, to close this, trust is really in your daily actions. You cannot drag people into classrooms to train trust, because and educate them about trust. Is in my daily action. I need to behave, every individual in an organization, that people can trust me, and eventually it cascades. But the moment I break that trust, I know that now I'm gonna have to work again really, really hard. Now, before employers, you are trying to drag people into the classroom, your employees, to teach them about trust. Maybe you should start with yourself, because you are the only one who can break that trust cycle issue. And you should be adjusting the way you conduct, your policies, your procedures, everything that you do. So then you come across as trustworthy. And then you can ask your people, nicely, not training them, ask your people, guys, we have adjusted these, things will happen, so give us the comment and we will work on it, but let's talk about trust in a way that we are going to invite you through our actions. And we're going to have this continuous dialogue around trust. That's how I see trust. Now, I hope you enjoy this, and remember, trust is in your daily actions. It's not in the seminar, it's not in a workshop, not in the training room. Make sure we can trust you, and then it's going to go both ways. All the links below, and share the video. Let's build trustworthy relationships at work, and leaders, and organizations, and employees. It's difficult, but hey, we are not far from it.